8 minutes under the water. Okay, Maren.
One of the other systems, probably because most of the toilet cisterns here are quite large ones with single flush, just getting another water bottle, filling that up and putting it in the system to reduce anything that takes up that space.
Okay, Ian.
Sorry, it's a question because I think water is a matter of politics, and while we've got technical engineers sitting here, I think I sense a disagreement between the professor and the director of water supplies, and that the politics of water, where we collect it from, are not perhaps as clear as what LT Ma would like to imagine in the long term. Because the longer the people in the upper catchment area and the more powerful they become in terms of their concern over what they're getting, the more difficult it's going to be for the rich people in Hong Kong to be able to claim that water. Perhaps both of you would like to comment on that. But the more important thing, and it comes back to this cost question, we're talking about the cost of getting salt water and converting it into drinking water. But the main problem is we have a political problem here that water is basically one of the cheapest resources we get. And if we could charge a reasonable amount for water, then we'd have a double benefit, and we'd be able to cover costs of getting it from somewhere else. And we'd also be able to perhaps look at other ways of doing it in a more economical way. But perhaps Professor would like to comment on the politics both here and up there. Are they really as good as what Mr. Ma is thinking they are?
So I think that's probably true because there's been a lot of argument and conflicts among different cities in the security of adequate water supply. And we also noticed that we went to visit these two cities, Hoyuan and Xinwu, there. We find that people have become very disappointed that their grievance has not been addressed. So increasingly, you can see there's a lot of irregularity. If you don't call it violation of the regulation, there's a lot of irregularity, sometimes endorsed by the local government, that they try to do something to help them to boost their economic well-being at the expense of their water conservation. So, for example, in Xinwu counties, although government set up very restricted rules and regulations, people still do a lot of mining, use the natural resources. So, although the government said that you should do it, but they implicitly allow them to go a little bit further than the regulation allow. So we can see why the water has gone wrong because of the soil erosion, because we can't protect. Also, also the planting of these fruit trees. So they also level the hills to do it. So they also create a lot of organic pollution. In these two, in Hoyuan, although they are not allowed to any polluted investment there, but sometimes they bring in. So you can argue about they are quite polluted, but they may not be very polluted investment there. So they keep on doing that. So in this sense, we consider that their grievance has already built up. If the government, and then also create a lot of pressure for local governments to find a way to help local people to get rich. So this is why I think that's probably the source of the distressing factors in the long run. So and we also interviewed the local cities in Shenzhen and Dongguan, and they all said that it's not their issue at all. And so their concern is only to get adequate water supplies, and the protection of the waters just ask the provincial government to coordinate. So this is why we consider that there's been a tension and the lack of the different priority between the upper cities, the city in the catchment area and the city in the lower stream. So that may create a feeling that while the disparity of the burdens and equity in the share of the wealth along the river. So, and one remark I like to bring out is that although it's not unfair that Hong Kong people have not played a part in the protection of the river. Actually, a few green groups has done a few things, either in a more organized way or as one-off activity there. Green groups like Friends of the Earth, like Conservation Association, and also Greenpeace also have done something on it. Greenpeace more on concerning about the monitoring of the quality of the industrial pollutions, and Conservancy Association, they have done a few tree planting in Hong Yuan. The latest one is was done in association with CLP, and Friends of the Earth actually has more organized program. It's called Lam Shui Si, think of the source when you drink your water. So it's more a 10 years program to do it. So they try, the Friends of the Earth try to promote the awareness, and also try to build a platforms so that more stakeholder participation there. I don't know, the government may have a lot of restriction in playing an active part in the process, so maybe Mr. Ma can tell us more about it.
Well, actually, Ian, I personally don't think there is any difference between what I present together with Carlos. Actually, I'm saying that there is a mechanism, all right, and we have a counterpart that we talk to. And in fact, you understand the issues. Basically, is talking about cross-boundary water supply in a way. One country, all right, the cross-boundary water supply. It's important that we have to understand. Although I'm an engineer, I have to understand the difficulties of the individual bureaucrats or organizations had in the mainland side, and to ensure that we will actually be plugging in at the right point, all right? And in a way, the distress of Hong Yuan, every time they express it to us during our visit, every year in November, we always go up to Hong Yuan, have a look at the beautiful Shen Kung Jiang Reservoir, see the plenty of stock they have to ensure that we are being guaranteed and supplied. They always keep mentioning that one. But the issue is actually being handled by the Guangdong province, together with the environmental bureau and together with the water authorities in Guangdong. And coming back to the issues of Jiangxi, the Jiangxi actually contribute, as Carlos mentioned in the slide, contribute to part of the water collected in the reservoirs along Dongjiang. But the percentage is only less than 10%. All right. So in a way, basically, you could understand easily the different perspective that may be adopted by the Jiangxi province and the Guangdong province. And certainly, in that particular perspective, we are not in a position of doing mediation or whatever. All right. So basically, we have to participate in some form. We did pay our cost for the purchase of water, and of course we would like to advance the argument that is all-inclusive in a way. But in the society, actually we promote all kind of care and concern about that particular aspect. Back in this March 22nd, 2010 issues, we issue a newspaper supplement on that one, all right? On what we call the World Water Day. And on a particular one, we bring in a particular point of the contribution of the Guangdong province, in particular Hong Yuan, on the contribution to maintaining a stable supply of good quality to all the cities along the Dongjiang River. And all have to actually see how we can contribute. Some advancement on that particular aspect is, in fact, Guangdong is actually want to try to find a way of setting up a pilot scheme to work out the arrangements for how to ensure the proper protection of the environment and water quality, and yet maintaining some form of development for the upper region. Put it this way, the upper region. So it is coming, and in actual fact, how Hong Kong is going to participate? Well, basically, I think we have to be proactive. That's the key point. We have to be proactive and see how the thing is being laid to us, and see how the community received that particular message. No one can claim to be no part of the issues. Everyone is in it because actually we are living along the same river. So I think everyone has to contribute somehow. But there must be a right